Let's pick up on a story you heard on the LBC News Bulletin. The deaths of dozens of bus workers who were exposed to coronavirus has led Transport for London to commission a study the city's mayor, wasn't he the son of a bus driver, has described as deeply personal. The two-part study will see a TfL work with University College London to understand the pattern of coronavirus infections and deaths among London's bus workers. 33 staff for Transport for London, 29 of whom were bus drivers, have died during the coronavirus pandemic. And apparently, anecdotally, we hear that the number of people travelling on the buses, which was phenomenally low, I guarantee sometimes on the way home, I would see buses that had just one person on, and that was the driver. Now, usage is way up. My LBC colleague Rachel Gerrish, I think you came in, or you'd regularly travelled by bus. What can you tell us? What have you seen, Rachel?
This morning it was so busy that the bus had to drive past me. You know, so many people were getting off the bus that they literally could not let me on. And I would say only about 30% of the passengers were wearing face coverings.
So it's as densely packed as it was prior coronavirus?
Yeah, I would say so, from what I saw this morning. The roads were the busiest that I've seen them since the lockdown, and it was the same on the buses.
And what about, were you in earlier this week? Sorry, I don't know. Was it roughly the same? Was particularly bad today?
Today was particularly bad. I mean, it seems to have been gathering in pace. There have been times, as you say, you know, I've maybe been the only person on the bus, but that was certainly earlier during the lockdown period. You know what it's like for us, we get strange times
Very
of
weird
buses.
shifts.
So, you know, it's always busy. Even at 5 o'clock in the morning, the particular route that I get, you know, you're kind of jammed in for space. But even this morning at 7:30, so many people that I could not get on the bus and they had to drive past.
And of every 10 people, how many do you say roughly would be wearing a mask?
About 3, maybe.
And this changed a lot after when Boris Johnson said if you cannot work from home, you can now go. Is that when the real spike appeared, or...?
I would say so, yeah. It just suddenly feels like as if, particularly in north central London where I live, it's kind of business as usual.
Right.
It seems like shops are starting to open their doors again. They're preparing to get back to normal, and it very much feels like that on public transport as well.
Rachel, thanks for coming by the studio. This is Rachel Gerrish talking about her bus journey. Let's put some of that to Mo Manier, who is a bus driver and safety campaigner. I think you're hearing, what are you hearing from your colleagues and what are you seeing, Mo? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Thanks for taking this call. So we've obviously heard the news. So it's a welcoming news that there is now a study being carried out on London buses on the transmission of the viruses and also how it's been impacting on the bus drivers and the fatalities on the bus workers. This is welcoming news. However, only a few weeks ago, the lifting of lockdown was eased.
Yeah.
And obviously, like Rachel, one of your previous callers said that the capacity of the buses is densely populated, so social distancing measures are not being able to, adhere to. This poses a risk to the bus driver as well.
Did Transport for London, did the Mayor of London, they move quickly enough on this, do you say, Mr. Manier?
We've seen research has been carried out just before this. The last research being carried out on the buses was sort of fatigue on bus workers, and just before this pandemic, we were campaigning on that fatigue, and perhaps the trade union was really upset that the fatigue wasn't taken into consideration. And why do we have to wait for research to be carried out before examining in the workplaces, taking risk assessments properly, and taking fully understanding how we can protect? I mean, we didn't get the mask, by the way, when the lockdown was introduced.
No, you didn't?
We didn't. No, we didn't get PPEs. These masks were provided only when the lockdown was eased.
And
so
the bus that you...
the measures were not taken in place proactively, but it's been taken later on.
And the bus that you drive, does it have 2 sets of doors, so you're able to effectively seal off the doors to your left and the first few seats, or are you on a single-decker bus? What are you in?
We've got double-decker buses on single-decker buses. Obviously, we've got dual doors. We've got a new Route Master bus with 3 doors.
Right.
And so we drive all these kind of buses. And we've got also a bus that is just single door only, the front door operation only.
I've seen
those buses, obviously, the cabs have been sealed off. Through the back of our trade union work, we've been making sure these are sealed off.
Best of luck with what you're doing. Mo Manier, you are a bus driver. You're with the Unite Trade Union. You're a safety campaigner. Thank you. I have actually got a comment. This is true. London Mayor Sadiq Khan actually says, as the son of a bus driver, this is deeply personal to me. Who knew he was the son of a bus driver? He doesn't make a lot of that, does he? He probably should say it more, I would think.